So, Endplays. Now, a little kind of disclaimer before I get into Endplays. They are quite a difficult thing to grasp. So, if you find yourself confused somewhere in the middle of my spiel, that's sort of to be expected because it is quite a difficult thing. It's known as an advanced playing technique. So, in the kind of the spirit of making these Monday evenings a bit trickier, given that I finished my 3-year course, this is one of the things that I wanted to do as kind of, if you like, extracurricular. This makes it sound a bit like a school, but you know. So endplays are quite difficult, so bear with me, basically. Now, the idea of an end play is that word comes at the end of the play, but it's not actually very descriptive about what you're doing. Hence the little, I suppose, formula, if you like, up there. So the idea really is based on the premise of who has the lead. So when the defenders have the lead, the declarer is at an advantage. And the reason for that is when the defenders are on lead, their side has to play first and third to a trick. When the declarer is on lead, they have to play first and third to a trick. So whoever can not be on lead, for that trick alone, is at an advantage. Because, basically, they get to play after you. So they get to look and go, you played a 9, I'll play a 10. That seems a logical thing to do. So whenever you are second and fourth to a trick, you have a much greater chance of winning that trick. Obviously, other things impact it, like what suit's been lined, how many points you have, yada yada. But if you can manifest a situation where you can get them to lead a suit for you, you will always benefit. Well, I suppose that's wrong. You will never not benefit. So it will either be the same or you will benefit from having them lead a particular suit. For example, if you take this spade suit, the queen is a relevant card. Let's imagine we're a declarer in whatever, 3 no trumps. And we need 3 tricks from this spade suit. Let's just say that that is the be-all and end-all of our contract, just to make life easy. So there are 3 options as to how to play this spade suit if we were to play it ourselves. So imagine we were forced into leading this spade suit ourselves. The 3 options you have are play your ace, then play your king, and hope the queen's appeared. That's one option. Play low to the 10, hoping the queen is here, then the 10 will win. Or play low to the jack, hoping the queen is here, and the jack will win. So there are 3 kind of ways you can play that suit. Any of them could succeed. The ace king first, that's about 32% chance of success. A finesse is 50% chance. But you could finesse that way, or you could finesse that way. This is known as a nightmare scenario. It's what's known as a 2-way finesse, because you can be damn sure you're going to pick the wrong way if you choose, just based on Sod's law. Whereas, if the opponents had the lead, let's say I wave my magic wand, and the opponents now are leading a spade 4 instead, you cannot fail to make 3 tricks. You've gone from 50% a finesse to 100%. The reason for that is, let's say the lead was with West, and they led a spade. All you have to do in second seat is play a small card. What that will then do is mean that West has no winning option to avoid you making 3 tricks. If they play the queen of spades, if they have it, then you will play the king and your ace and jack will be tricks, because the queen has been killed. If they don't play the queen, you will win the 10, and therefore you will have 3 tricks. So whatever West does, whether they do that or that, you have 3 tricks. So you have managed to avoid the finesse situation entirely. And that's because you have managed somehow to get East to lead a spade for you. Now, sometimes the defenders do this not because they want to help you, but because they think that's the best thing they can do, and they are wrong because they misplace cards. Sometimes they do it because it's their only option. So an end play refers to specifically manifesting this situation where you get them to lead the suit for you. I mean, I suppose you could pay them off and bribe them to do it. What we're trying to do here is make it so that they either only have spades left or anything else they lead would also help us. You get into a position whereby relinquishing the lead to them is actually a net benefit. Losing the lead isn't a good idea normally because it means you've lost a trick. And losing a trick is not a way to succeed. You can't lose 13 tricks and go, well, I was then playing them, because you're not making any tricks. So at times you have to win the tricks. So losing tricks isn't often a good idea, but losing the lead to gain something is like, if you like, it's bird in the hand, 2 in the bush. Not the same? Anyway, it's like losing the lead to try and gain something later on. So that's what an end play looks to do. Now I want to say, before I get into the specifics of how to bring this about, you can often, if you like, accidentally perform an end play. That's sort of not crediting you with enough. But you can, if you're in trouble and you think, I am not going to make this contract because I have problems X, Y, and Z, especially in trump contract, in no trumps, often when you lose the lead, you think you're going off, you're off because they just do whatever it is you don't want them to do. But in trump contracts especially, often losing the lead can actually benefit you. You think, I don't know what to do, I haven't got enough tricks. Hi, Pete, go on in. Talking about Endplays. Often, I will not perform an end play because I've envisaged the entire hand. I think, well, they've got this card, I'll give them the lead, they lead away from that, I make my queen when I shouldn't. They won't always be like that. Sometimes it's just, I don't know what to do, I haven't got enough tricks, let's give them the lead and see what they do. And sometimes them having the lead can benefit you because they lead something that they think is a good idea for them but actually turns out better for you. So often it's a good kind of panic idea. You're panicking because your contract is in jeopardy. Giving the lead away to a loser that you were going to lose anyway can often be a good idea because they then have to lead something. Sometimes they help you, sometimes they don't. Now an end play refers to a specific scenario when you know they must help you. You can stumble upon an end play by just kind of giving the lead away and seeing what they do. You know, give the lead away and I hope they lead a club, oh they've led a club, great, that benefits me. So you don't have to be kind of a genius and work out all four hands to know what an end play is. Obviously that helps. But you can just go, well I don't know how I'm going to make this contract, perhaps I'll give them the lead with this certain loser here and see what they do with it. Because they won't always do a good thing for themselves. Defending is quite hard because you can't see everything. However, to officially perform an end play, to do a kind of a strategic, kind of a planned end play, what you have to do is you have to do two things written on the board. You have to do an elimination and then a throw-in. Now, an elimination is when you remove safe options from them. So if we imagine in this spade suit scenario, let's say you think, oh, well, I want the, obviously you need the rest of the hand for full detail, but let's say you think, oh, I want the opponent to lead me spades. Yep, that's true, you do. So you lose the lead over here, and then they don't lead a spade. You've actually lost the lead for no reason there, you could argue. So you need them to do what you want them to do. You need to try and force them into that scenario. So that can be one of two ways. The best way would be that they only have spades in their hand. That would be a good idea. Then they are forced to lead you a spade. The other ways are if they lead something else, that also helps you. So you have another situation like this in diamonds, let's say, and they have to help you in one or the other. So an elimination is when you remove the safe options from them. A spade is not a safe lead for them, so you need to remove the hearts, diamonds and clubs from them, if you can. So an elimination refers to the act of pulling certain cards off them to stop them from avoiding the end play by safely exiting. A defender, when they find themselves on lead, if they want to lead something safe, is known as an exit card because they are exiting their hand. They're losing the lead on purpose to try and break the end play. Basically, a bit of cat and mouse. You have the lead, no, you have the lead, no, you have the lead, no, you have the lead. Because it's not good to have the lead, counterintuitively. And the throw-in, that is when you throw them in, you give them the lead. So you first eliminate their safe options by pulling the trumps off them and getting this suit off them, and then you lose that loser. You need to have a loser, otherwise you don't have a problem. And then when you lose that loser, you have thrown them in. You have given them the lead at the critical moment. End plays are all about timing. You pull this off them, you do that, and then you throw them in with that loser, and then they have to do something that helps you. Okay? So now I'm just going to kind of fill this hand out and try and expand on the idea of the end play and how we might end play someone in this particular hand. Okay, now I've made this one, I like to say, I mean, there's no such thing as a straightforward end play, but I've made this as straightforward as I can do. I'll get some slightly more complex examples in a minute. Let's say we're in 6 hearts. So, oh, hang on, sorry, this is a card. No, we're now in 6 hearts, we weren't a minute ago. So let's say we're in 6 hearts. So, the good thing about trump contracts, for end play's sake, is that when neither of you have a suit in your hand, let's say we got rid of our clubs on this example, you have eliminated a suit, because when you have trumps, let's say we had got rid of these clubs, the opponents can't lead clubs anymore because they give you something that is a ruff and a discard. So just to show you the point, let's say they lead club, So we go club, club. Now, if the opponent's led a club, what you can do is trump it in one hand and throw a loser away in another hand. That's a +1 game because you've made a trump independently. So what you could do is trump here, throw the spade away here, and now you don't have any spade losers. You don't have to finesse in spades because your ace-king deal with your 2 spades left. So a rough and discard is a benefit, as well as them leading a spade. So in trump contracts, the way to eliminate a certain suit can just be that you don't have any, you eliminate them from your hands. Rather than eliminating all of their clubs, which will be a lot of work, instead just eliminate your clubs. Now they can't lead clubs safely. Do you see that? They lead a club, that has to help us, doesn't it? Assuming we have trumps in both hands. So, going back to this hand, it wasn't that way around, but whatever, don't matter. What you can now do, let's say they don't lead a spade. If they lead a spade at trick 1, they have done it for us. They've led the spade, they have actually done the finesse for us, so we don't need to do anything. So we're in 6 hearts, and we have a certain diamond loser here. We have 3 diamonds in each hand, and we don't have the queen, nor the jack, nor any kind of thing that we can pull off. So short of a miracle, that 3rd diamond is not going to be a trick. Yeah, I would assume the opponents are going to keep 3 diamonds, even if you run all your hearts at them. So it would appear this contract pivots on the queen of spades. If we make 3 spade tricks, we will only lose 1 diamond, and we will make our 6 hearts. If we don't make 3 spade tricks, i.e. we lose to the queen of spades, we have to lose to that diamond as well, so we will be 1 off. Fairly straightforward, but simply, 1 loser there, we can't have a loser there. That's the short and long and short of it. If we were in 4 hearts, yes, you don't care because you've got 11 tricks or 12 tricks, but you should still care because you want 12. Remember, from match points week, you want the best score you can get, even if it's 1 trick better. So the way I would go about this, assuming they don't lead a spade, if they do, they've done it for me. So let's say they lead a diamond or a club, or even a heart, something that doesn't help me. Let's say a diamond. That's in theory the most threatening thing, isn't it? Because that's our weakness. Win the ace of diamonds. You could win the king as well. I'm not upset about that. Draw the trumps, let's say in 2 rounds, so I don't have to draw as many X's. If there were 3-0, you could draw a 3rd round of trumps if you had to. They discard something, let's say a diamond. Now, in doing so, in drawing the trumps, you have removed the trumps from them. So you've started to perform this elimination. I'm not saying that you know at trick 1, although this is a fairly common Endplays kind of hand. I'm not saying you know at trick 1 that you're performing an Endplay, but you're simply pulling the trumps. Nothing fancy really going on here. Next plan, now, because... How do I know there's an Endplay? Because you have mirrored shape, you've got 3-5-3-2 opposite 3-5-3-2. Often mirrored shape lends itself very well to an end play. I'll get more into that in the next hand, but if you see your hands are mirrored, same shape opposite one another, you can sense an end play, because that means when you give up the leads, you are also exhausting yourself as suit. I'll explain in a minute. So now we want the opponents to lead spades, but we haven't yet eliminated all the safe options. If we lose the lead at this stage, they might lead a club.
We'll lead a club.
Well, we'll lead a club if the defenders know what they're doing. For example, if I play a diamonds to king and lose that losing diamond, that's our definite loser, isn't it? So if I play a diamonds to king and then lose that diamond, a good defender will lead a club, which gives you the lead back. And then you've not achieved the end play, then you have to finesse the spades. So what you must do is eliminate the clubs. What I mean by that is pull the clubs from your hands. Now, as discussed before, the clubs are no longer a safe lead for the opponents. You see how the walls are going in here? They can't lead hearts because they haven't got any. They can't lead clubs because that gives us a rough and discard. Soon, they won't be able to lead diamonds, because now we play the king of diamonds, and then our 3rd diamond. Now, our diamond is a definite loser. To perform an end play, you need a definite loser. If you don't have a definite loser, don't bother thinking about any of this, just take your 13 tricks. If you do have a definite loser, which this diamond is, that is your what's known as your exit card. Similar to a defender's exit card, this is your exit card. You're exiting, losing the lead on purpose. Because on this round of diamonds, let's say East wins it because they've got a jack, you have also eliminated diamonds. They now can't lead a club because you would rough and discard. They can't lead a diamond because you would rough and discard. And they can't lead a spade because that helps you, that finesses. And they can't lead a heart because they haven't got any. So of all the 4 suits they can lead, none of them don't benefit. Sorry, all of them benefit you. Because a club or a diamond, you trump it in one hand, throw your loser away. I'll do that in a minute because that's the more vague one. If they lead a spade, it's as discussed. They do the finesse for you. Okay? So, they lead a club. What you can do is trump here. They play a club. Throw the spade away there. And now you have no spade losers. Spade to the king. Spade to the ace. Trump the jack of spades on the dummy. You've got 12 tricks. Okay? Now, obviously, went very nicely. That's because I've set it up where you have perfectly mirrored shape and you have one definite loser and one finessing position. But the way to sense an end play being a thing is when you have the mirrored shape and you have a way of playing a suit that you're not sure about and a definite loser, i.e. you have these kind of ingredients that make one of these. Okay? If you didn't know about end plays, this 6-heart contract would literally be a pure guess. Do I play them for the queen of spades, or do I play them for the queen of spades? Simple. So you'd make it half the time. Or, those pessimists in the room, you'd make it 1/10 of the time because your finesse never work or whatever. Alright? Now, I'll look at a slightly different one.